wait for some few minutes for our colleague. So we give them some few minutes for them to join and we start. Thank you for your patience. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yeah, yes, we can hear you, sir.
Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Yeah, you can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Right. All right. So sorry once again. We're supposed to start exactly 20 o'clock. That is 8 p.m. in Ghana here, but because of a change of medium that came at the last minute, we had to just cope up with that. So we are so sorry for that. So while others keep joining, I think we'll just have to start because our time is fast spent and we're having a lot of people coming in. Do we have Bernard Inketia? Bernard Inketia, can you hear me? If you can hear me, you kindly give me a thumbs up.
Yeah, Richie, I'm here. Sorry for
right.
the
So I think yes, we can start. We can start while the rest of us join us. Yeah. Hello, Bernard. If you can hear me, please, I humbly hand over the moderation to you to kickstart it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Richie, for engaging the audience while I come. Good evening to you all. I'm Bernard Ketia. In fact, I apologize for joining late. Something happened at my end here. Our guest speaker has been on the page for a very long time. He has been waiting for us. I think our number is enough for us to kickstart with the meeting. So today is our second mentorship session. Mentorship training session on studying abroad. Yesterday was very impactful, and we really gained a lot from Mr. R. Ralph Mahama. So today, we have another well-seasoned, in fact, I don't know where to get the words to describe this young man. When I saw his profile from Richie, I was really impressed. Pardon me, please. We are going to gain a lot from our speaker today. For introducing our speaker. All right, so I just want to briefly introduce our speaker, then he will take over. Our speaker tonight we are just leaving some information so that we'll be able to catch up with time. He has his BSc degree, that's his first degree, at University of Mines and Technology, that is Takwa, Ghana, in the year September 2020, where he graduated with first class honors. That was his first degree, BSc Minerals Engineering, where he had his first class honors in the year 2020 at the University of Mines and Technology, Takwa. There he proceeded to do his Master of Science at Freiburg University of Mining and Technology at Germany, Ghent University, Belgium, and Uppsala University in Sweden, where he obtained his MSc in Sustainable and Innovative Natural Resource Management in the year September 2022 to July 2024. He majored in Sustainable Mineral Processing. There, from July 2024, he proceeded to do his PhD currently at Pennsylvania State University, USA, where he's pursuing
Sorry, I think we just lost Bernard. So I continue from where he stopped. So currently our guest speaker is currently studying energy and mineral engineering, and is majoring in mining and mineral processing engineering at Pennsylvania State University in the USA. House, I would like us to warmly show reactions, thumbs up if you are on, to welcome our guest speaker. He's the person of Mr. Patrick Abansapo. Kindly give us thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. If you're online, give us thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up for Mr. Patrick Abansapo, who would lead us into the session. Today, we are mainly going to focus on statements of purpose drafting. If you are here, you can get your books ready and your notes, your jotters and your notes ready, so that you can pen and also prepare your questions when it's done. We're going to address every question that you may have. So kindly give us a thumbs up if you're online. Patrick, the session is for you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
Right, that's great. So I want to thank everyone, and I want to appreciate this very opportunity to speak here. I also want to apologize for, I think I was the one who wasted the time, right? Because I changed the meeting media few minutes to time. So I just want to apologize for that. I started sharing some screens. Can you all confirm if you can see the screen?
Yes, please. Yes.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, that's great. So, yeah, I'm Patrick Sapon, and thank you, Bernard and Ketia, and thank you, Richard, also. Yes, for the opportunity once and again. I'm going to talk about statement of purpose for graduate school or for scholarship applications. So what I would say is, first of all, once you have completed from an accredited university in Ghana, you can go abroad to study, okay? So once you are coming from a school that has been registered and is seen as a school in books with all license and that's a registered university, it means you can go abroad for your education, for master's or for PhD. Okay. So this is irrespective of your grade. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying once you have graduated from a school that is accredited, you can go abroad. So even if you graduated from first class, you graduated with second class, third class, or even lower whatsoever. I'm saying that once you have graduated from a school that is accredited, you can go abroad. Okay? So it doesn't matter class. It doesn't matter class. Yeah. As far as what I'm saying is concerned, you don't need class because there are people who graduate with second class and go to school. There are people who graduate with third class and go to school. They're in Canada, Australia, even some in Europe and US. Okay. So I just want to say that once you put it up in your mind to do graduate school, it will work. I think it's just a matter of time. Yeah, it's just a matter of time. It will work. Okay. Why? Because you have everything it takes to travel. So put that in your mind. If you are someone who will want to start applying for schools, just know that it will work. It's just a matter of time. Just know that it will work. So that's the thing I would say to start. All right. So I'm going to discuss the SOP, the things that should be in your SOP. And this is what I would say. I put them into this chart. And the SOP, for those who are starting the process fresh, SOP statement of purpose is an essay that is required for your graduate school applications. And the PS is also personal statement. Okay. In my books, I describe these two essays as the same. For example, if you ask me to help you write a personal statement, I'll give you tips you can use to write SOP. If you ask me to help you write SOP, I'll also give you tips you can write for personal statement. Okay, so the tips I give to write statement of purpose, those tips can also be equally used to write essays like personal statements. Does it make sense? Yeah. So I don't see, sometimes you meet people, hey, what is the difference between statement of purpose and personal statement? And now people try to explain, hey, statement of purpose should contain this, hey, personal statement should not contain this. No. I don't think that is necessary, and that is true. It depends on the quality or the ingredient in that essay. And whatever qualifies to be in statement of purpose qualifies to be in personal statement. Okay. After all, the statement of purpose is also a statement about you, your person. So it's about you. It's an individual statement, which is your personality, right? So that's just by the way. Except sometimes when you go to the portals of the website of some schools, they would outline what should be talked about in your personal statement. Sometimes, okay, they define what should be in the personal statement. For exceptions like that, okay, a school that tells you what to put in your personal statement, then I follow the school's guideline to write it. But if they leave it open, like a lot of schools do, you just have to make sure that whatever ingredient you have for the statement of purpose should be the same as should be the same as what you use to write the personal statement. Okay? Does it make sense to you? All right. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? All right. If no questions, then yes. So the statement of purpose is a story about yourself. Okay. Remember that you submit your transcript, you submit your certificate, you submit your CV. So if we want to know the programs you studied in school, we will check your transcript. If you want to know the grade you completed, we will check your transcript. You will see it. We can even check your certificate. We will see it. If you want to see the schools you attended, it is also on this transcript, and sometimes it will be on your CV. if you want to see, oh, the places you have worked, oh, some projects you have done, oh, honors and awards, even your skills and things, they are all inside your CV. Okay. So if these things are all inside your CV and transcript and other things, why do they still ask for statement of purpose? Of course, if you want to see that I've worked elsewhere, are these informations not in the CV? They are in the CV. They are in the CV. Sometimes even the courses you did, they are in the CV. But why do you have to tell me to write another statement of purpose? So, number one, the reason why you are asked to write statement of purpose, number one, is for you to show, is for you to show the things you have bulleted in your CV. So in the CV, you bullet this, you bullet that, you bullet this, you bullet that. In short sentences, 1 line, 2 lines. Sometimes even not up to one sentence or one line in an MS Word document. Okay, but still you'll be asked to write SOP. So the thing is, in the SOP or in the essays, you will show, okay, and explain more the things you have bulleted in your CV. You don't necessarily have to repeat what is in the CV, but you throw a lot of light. So I'm going to show you some of the things. I'm going to talk about a lot of things. So you throw a lot of light on something you just bulleted in your CV. Okay, that is number one. Number two, they want to see how good you write. Okay, they want to see your writing skills. Why? Because most of the scholarship programs and the graduate school programs, when you come here to study, you'll be doing a lot of writing. All right, you'll be doing a lot of writing. So the research, for those who know the knowledge about what happens, I have a video on that, what really happens here. So those who know it, you realize that when you come, you do a lot of research. Because you do a lot of research, you also do a lot of writing because you need to write. Because of that, it is important for them to know your writing skills. One of the ways to see how best you can write is through statement of purpose or personal statement. Okay, so that is why we need this SOP. I also say that it is the SOP that you can use to sell yourself. Okay, they want to see how best you can sell yourself to them. They want to see it. It's competition, and it's not only you that is applying. So if a lot of people are applying, then it means the one who is applying should be able to sell himself in a way that the other applicants will not be picked or admitted over him. Okay, so because of that, it is also an opportunity. Think of it like an opportunity given to you to sell yourself. For example, if you have 2 people selling maize or selling potatoes in the market, and then you go to buy potato, you don't have an already seller, all right? You don't have someone you buy from regularly. So this is your first time in the market. Yeah, and also the scholarship selection committees and the professors, they don't also know you. Sometimes it's the first time you are applying to the program, so they don't also know you. So it's like when you go to the market and you meet 2 people selling potatoes. So in fact, one of them can sell the potato to you, but before he or she sells the potatoes to you, she will compel you, give you some reasons, explain why you need to buy from him, be friendly, tell you some stories, engage you, understand? Smile. So these are all engagement strategies. And what's the aim? The aim is for you to pick him or pick her and buy from her. That's the same thing that happens here in SOP. So when you're writing your SOP, it gives you the chance to sell yourself. To sell yourself. That's why you need the SOP. So I gave 3 reasons. There may be other good reasons, but because of time. All right. So when you have the time to start your statement of purpose, you may have to reason the story in your head before you start writing. Okay? You may have to reason the story in your head before you start writing. Or you may have to jot down some main point before you start writing. And these are the things we are going to go into. These are some of the points you may have to jot. Okay? There should be an opening hook or statement. You should also be able to talk about your academic journey, talk about work experience, the program fit, and then your future goals. So I'm going to take these one by one. And the opening hook or statement has to do with a nice, compelling, and exciting story. Okay? It's a story that has the ability to compel or intrigue people to like what you are about to say. Understand? Okay. For example, if you want to write anything online, this is not SOP, this is a general example. If you want to write anything online, and then your first sentence was how I killed 99 people when I was 12 years old. That was your first sentence, maybe on LinkedIn or on social media. The first sentence is why I regretted killing eight students in the senior high school. So everybody, why the guy killed 8 students? Let me go and read. So that thing pushes them to the real story. That is what the opening hook does. Okay, so it is not something that is related to your project or the program you are going to do. Not at all. Sometimes it is not. Huh? It is anything that can pull their mind towards what they are about to read. So sometimes it can be a nice story from infancy. I give examples. For example, if you are coming from the electrical engineering, okay, yeah, you can give a hook that says that maybe one day you were with your father watching television, a nice program on the TV, all of a sudden there was a light out, only for them to tell you that, oh, the energy or the electrical energy in Ghana is low. So the government decided to take out light for 3 months. And after 3 months, the light will come again, and it will not also be stable. It will be coming and going and coming and going. At a point, they can even take it forever until after 1 year. You see, so when you are young, some of these things happen, and then you can use it as a hook that says that because of this incident, you developed some inner passion, even at your young age, to study something related to energy and electrical engineering, so that later in the future, you can help solve Ghana's issue in this. You understand what I'm saying? So it should be it should not necessarily sometimes be related to electrical engineering, but anything that gives you motivation to study a particular program. It can be mechanical, okay? It can be mining. Yeah, maybe mining, you come from a mining community, so you saw how the mining activities was polluting the water body. So it's an example. Does it make sense? Yeah, some people also can start with a nice quote from a titan in your field. If you are someone applying to a health program, look for a titan, a great man in the health sector who give a very nice quote that you can use to start your statement of purpose. Okay, so these are things you can do, and these are things you can add. Examples like this. So if I say examples like this, it means you can get some on your own. Just make sure there is something that is pulling them towards what you write. You don't have to start direct. Okay, you don't have to start direct. I am enthusiastic to write to you about my application to the University of Michigan to apply for the Masters in Mathematical Sciences. No, you don't have to start like that. You have to take your time and start with the hook. Okay. Now, the hook should buttress a challenge in your field. All right, it should be a challenge in your field. So if I say a challenge, is like what is happening negatively in your field of study. Like if you are coming from the field of accounting, okay, a challenge in the field of accounting, maybe they cannot keep data. Okay, if you're coming from the field of health, maybe there's a challenge with cancer and you want to use AI to solve. Or maybe if you're coming from mining field, there's a challenge, in mining field. So you're trying to look for challenges, and then you also briefly discuss this challenge, and then inform the committee, okay, that this challenge also has given you the motivation and the interest to study this advanced program so that in the near future, you can come to help solve that problem. Is it making sense to you? So you see, this is something you have to take time to write. So there's the opening hook and then a problem statement or a challenge. Okay. All right. Sometimes from your first paragraph, sometimes they know whether to pick you or not. Okay. Sometimes from your first paragraph, because what they want to see is someone who has been very enthusiastic about research, even when he was young. So someone can ask you, oh, so is it necessary that every time there should be a story in the opening? Is it necessary that every time there should be a story? It's not all around necessary, but because it accomplishes a purpose, and the purpose is that what it does is that it let the people know that you are very enthusiastic. Okay, you are someone who has been interested in this very thing for a very long time, and that is what Kwesi Broni want to see. That's what the white men want to, or the professors want to see, or the selection committee want to see. They want to see that you are someone who has had interest in this field for a very long time. It is not because Ghana is hard. That is why all of a sudden you developed interest. Or it is not because you have completed school, you are not getting job to do. That is why all of a sudden you want to stay. So they want to see that the interest has been from of old, from infancy time. All right. So now, after the hook with the challenge, then now you come to talk about your academic lifestyle. Remember, it's a story we are building. So now you enter into your bachelor's. If you have completed bachelor's already, yes. If you have completed both bachelor's and master's, enter into them. So you go to your bachelor's program, and then you tell them some of the programs you did, or some of the courses you did that are very much related to the program you are applying for. Because what Kwesi Broni wants to see is that you did something in your bachelor's that reflects the master's or the PhD program you are going to do. That's what Kwesi Broni wants to see. And because of that, it is important to mention some of the courses you did and show that these courses gave you knowledge and gave you some skills or research skills, okay, to even study for the master's and the PhD you want to go and study. Just show it. And then because you are still talking about your bachelor's or academic journey, starting from the bachelor's degree, you may also have to talk about some mini project works that you did. Remember, those who have watched the video I did on CV, we're talking about mini projects that you do in school. The ones that you do, you don't only have to finish before you do. The ones that you do during school time. So it is in this section that you talk about some mini projects that you did when you were in school. Okay, level 100, level 200, level 300, some mini project. And then you also talk about your final year project work. If you did final year project work, this is where you can also talk about it. Okay. Now, when you talk about this, you are not done. If you want, you can put all that I've said now into one paragraph. And then the next paragraph is to talk about your extracurricular activities during your bachelor's. Because remember, it's a story we are building. So we are saying that once you are talking about your academic journey and you are talking about your bachelor's, after talking about your courses you did and some projects you did and all, also talk about extracurricular activities. And what are extracurricular activities? The things you did outside the academic work. Okay, so your leadership experiences, sometimes you even join some committees and associations and unions on campus. Sometimes you even joined people to teach, senior high school students. Okay, any extracurricular activities that you did, it is very important to write them. Now, why do we write them? We write them to tell them that even though we were involved in all these extracurricular activities, we still managed to complete with Bachelor of Science honors degree. Okay, and with even good grade. That's what we want to show them, and that's what they want to see. They want to see that aside academic work, you are also very integral in social groups or in some associations. Make sense? So that's what they want to see. And you cannot just tell them, you have to show. So you show them by saying that I was involved in this, I was involved in that, I did this, I was the leader of this, I was a member of this. And then you tell them that even though I was involved in all these things, I had good grace. You see, I still had good grace. And that's how to say. That's how to say. Now, when you're someone who was very close to first class, or maybe you were in second class or third, and then you never liked your grade, and you see that yourself, potentially you could have gotten first class, but because of some issues or some reasons beyond your control those days when you were in school, you could not attain the class you wanted to attain. Now, it is in this point or this section that you can talk about it. Okay, you can talk about it. So after mentioning all other extracurricular and also saying that, okay, but you completed with this good grade in this class and you completed with Bachelor of Science honors and all. And then you can briefly explain why maybe you dropped in your GPA or CWA. You can maybe explain it briefly why you dropped. Maybe there was a COVID period, and then somehow you got infected by the COVID. Maybe a family member passed on, and then he gave you emotional and mental trauma. Sometimes maybe you changed school, right? Maybe your father changed the university for you. Maybe you even changed the program after the first year. Some reasons that happened that caused your drop in your GPA or CWA. Now, this is where you can also talk about them. Don't be shy to talk about them, or don't see it as, oh, when I talk about them, they will see that I didn't do well in my transcript or in my in school. No, don't think that way, because when you say it, they now can equally see you as a first class student because you have given a reason why you were not in first class. So that reason will cover up or will add up to your second class, and they will see you as a first class student. That's the reason why we say those things. So you can mention it. This is for those who never had first class, or those who had low first class. You know, the first class, we have ranks. You have the 90s, the 80s. So you have low first class. You can talk about it that, oh, if it had not been this sickness, I would have graduated with a CWA of like 90 or 95. Make sense? Yeah, these are very important things you can also talk about. Right. You can also talk about your work experience. So remember that we just finished talking about our academic journey. So our bachelor's, if you have masters, you can talk about masters also here, the programs, the courses you did there and all. So once you finish, then we have to come and talk about work experience. Okay, so two things that can that can sell you is your academic experience and your work experience. So the academic experience is what we just discussed, academic journey. Now come and talk about your work experience. And I want you to do this when you are writing your SOP. Add your internships to your work experiences. Okay? Add your internship. So sometimes what I see people do is when they start writing their academic journey, oh, I studied in the University of Mines and Technology. And then in my second year, I went to do internship. Oh, wait, we know that you did the internship during your bachelor's degree, but let us put them under work experience. Okay? Let us put them under work experience. So that we will have, if you did like 2 internships plus your national service. Remember, in the video, I made some videos on the CV. I said that we should not call it national service. We should give it a proper name for those who have watched the video. So that we talk about 2 internships you did, or the number of internships you did, plus the national service work you did. And then you give it one whole paragraph, because when you mention the work experiences, you also have to highlight some duties or responsibilities you took during those times. You have to mention them. Yeah, you have to mention them. And then here, you may also have to mention places, places, names of the companies, dates, all right? You have to, because these are things that show that you are very unique. They show that you are very unique. They show that you are very unique. So mention places, mention names, mention dates. For example, maybe you did your first internship in 2021. You can say that in September or in August 2021, I had my internship, blah, blah. So mention the date. Someone can just go ahead and say, after my first year, I had internship at Vodafone Technologies of Ghana, something like So it is good to write it that way, but it is better to mention the date and sometimes even the time. Yeah, during my summer period in 2019, on 1st August, I had a call from Vodafone Technologies to come for an interview. So some things like that. And sometimes don't skip the processes that went on to get that internship slot or the national service slot or the work slot. Okay, for example, you were there and then you saw an advert of a company looking for internship student or national service student. And then you applied with your CV and your cover letter. And then out of how many applications that came, they selected you. And then you had to go for an interview. And then after the interview, there were 100 or 50 people that went for the interview. And after the interview, they were only to select 20 students. And then you were part of the 20 students that were selected for the company, and then you started working. These are things you can use to sell yourself. How do you sell yourself? You will tell them that when you applied with about 300 to 500 applicants. And after they reviewed the application, they selected you, or you were selected, okay, for an interview. Then during the interview, because of your knowledge and your leadership skills and your experience, you were admitted to be the graduate mechanical engineer for Asanko Gold Mine or for Ghana Gas Corporation, something like that. And so that the people, the professor or the selection committee will know that you did not get this offer by favor. Sometimes God's favor is his side. But these people want to see that you got the offer by merit, like you really deserved it. You see, because sometimes they think that, maybe your family members have a company. Okay, like Kennedy Japan's company, if he employs people, he can employ his family people. They don't need any interview or this. Understand? So sometimes they think that, oh, maybe your uncle has a company, so he just let you work there, and you did not gain it by merit. But tell them that, the way you suffered to get it, but say it in a professional way, like I give you an example. Tell them that you were 200, 300 people that applied, and you were selected out of 300, and they skewed it down to 100. You went for interview, they skewed it down to 20. Does it make sense? Now, these are things you can say, okay? You don't just go ahead straight and say, oh, after my bachelor's education, I did my national service at this company. I did my national service with Telekel Ghana. No, explain the process that went on. Okay. Yeah. You know, sometimes when you are talking, you can even say in the SOP a sentence like, so based on blah, 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 I know that I am the best fit for this program. Just say it. Say it. Talk hard and one line. I know that with all my experiences and techniques and knowledge, I know that I am the best fit for this PhD program. Say it. Remember, we are selling ourselves. Okay? All right, now let's go on. Now, when you finish the work experience, then you come and talk about how you fit into the program. So first of all, it depends on the professor or some professors you have seen in the school, and then or in the department, and then how your research interests align with them. Remember, those who follow my videos, you understand research interests now. So how your research interests align with them. Your research interest is what you are working on. I mean, what you are interested in doing research in, and then you check if that thing is related to what the professors have also. Okay, so that if it is in line or if they are in line, then it means you can work easily with the professor. So your program fit is how that you can tell them that the research interest in that department fits you. Okay, and then the contributions you think you can bring on board because you have studied for your bachelor's or for your master's, or because you have previous work experience and previous research experience and all. Okay, so this is how to talk about the program or how to talk about the program fit. Now, here, I always say that it is important to talk about the program, not the school. So, for lack of better words, I will say talk about the department, don't talk about the school. Talk about the department. For example, if you are going to apply to computer science engineering department, computer science and engineering department, talk about the computer science and engineering department. Don't talk about the school. Maybe the computer science and engineering department is in Michigan State University or Oklahoma State University. Don't talk about Oklahoma State University. Talk about the program, the computer science and engineering program. Praise it. If you want to praise it, praise it. And explain why you fit into that program or that department, not to fit into that school. Why? Because when you apply, all your applications go to the program direct. They don't go to the school. What is the school? If you come here, when was the last time you saw the school? Or we heard about school, that big school. The school is big. The school is very big. So your applications and everything come direct to the department. What the school does is that the school gives you the portal. It is the school that creates the portal, the big portal. Then when you enter the portal, you go and look for your department, and you apply to the department. So your documents are going to the department. What the school does is they give you portal to apply. Okay. So sometimes I see that people write SOP and they spend a lot of time praising the school. Or I've seen that the school is doing a lot. They give you expertise and knowledge. They give you practical experience. No, channel all these praises to the program or to the department. Okay? Yeah, channel all these there to the department. Yes, that's what I'll say. I'm trying to say something, but this should be enough. These are things I use. These are personal things I use. I don't follow other people's outline of SOP. These are things that someone will say that, talk about the school, talk about the school. You can talk about the school, but I don't talk about the school. I talk about the department. Okay? Yeah. All right. Then the last thing you can talk about is your future goals. Or you see that I've written immediate and long-term future goals. So these are two things, if you want, you can discuss. First of all, the long future term goals here, you can discuss. Those are your future career goals and your career, what you want to do in the future after the program and all. But the immediate one is also very important. For example, the time you are applying to the time you enter the school. Okay, so we are still in the application period. So this time out till the September that you guys will come abroad. Now that time, what will you be doing? It is called immediate go or immediate future go. You see? That time you have applied. So sometimes people will discuss it or will write about it and say that, oh, that time till the time they will come, they are finishing up some online courses, and they mention the names of the online courses in their SOP. Okay. Oh, sometimes they are even finishing up a paper that they are writing. Then they talk about the paper, what the topic of the paper is and all. Sometimes they'll say that, oh, they are reading some books, or they are doing some research, or they are learning some programming language. You see, so that you have to tell them that you're actually ready for the September that you are coming. And that is what Kwesi Broni wants to see, your readiness. Okay, so the immediate goal is that even from now that I'm applying, the few months directly ahead of me, my immediate future like this, I have plans. I have plans. This is what I'm doing: online courses, writing paper, doing some programming, learning programming languages, learning some software, and those things. So these are things you can also say. Then quickly you say, after school, I want to be this, I want to be this. It is good to say you want to be a professor, so that you can contribute to the research. Remember that in the opening hook, we mentioned a challenge that you said you want to study, so that later you can address it. So quickly, in your future career goals, you have to buttress it with the opening hook. And that means that you have closed your SOP. Your SOP is written and closed. And that makes sense. So it is not, you didn't just write them, you didn't just put some things on the paper like that and left it. No. You started with an opening hook. You discuss your story. When you're about to finish, you also closed. Okay, you closed the SOP. And this is very solid SOP you can have. So channel it back to the opening hook or the problem statement or the challenge in your field. Remember, we talked about it. And the challenge in your field, mostly it should start from you. It should start from yourself. So for example, if I say it should start from yourself, it means you should personalize it. It should be unique about you. It should not be general. And one of the things you can do to make it personalized is when you talk about yourself. For example, if I say talk about yourself, it's not mentioning your name. Number one, where do you come from? You come from Ghana. In Ghana, where do you come from? You come from Gosu. You come from Seshi. You come from, there are people who come from Seshi Akontombra. If you come from villages like that, Seshi also and Chicheure, those Dunkwa, those things are sacred. If you come from those villages, before you make it, God has to bless you. How can you come from Bisiansi and you see some of these things? But I have to mention that that's where you come from. I have to mention that that's where you come from. So if you mention that that's where you come from, that makes it unique, because everybody will start talking about, hey, the increase in carbon and the increase in CO2 into the atmosphere is very alarming, and global warming is increasing, and everybody will say that, everybody will say. But if you start saying that, oh, in the city called Gosu or Sesha Kontombra, where I come from, in Ghana, at the western region, no, in Ghana, in West Africa, you see, you have started from you. All this information is about you. So it makes it more unique and personalized. That makes sense. That makes sense. So it is important to start from yourself. Even if the challenge is not in your country or in your, of course, which challenge is not in Ghana? Every challenge is, you can find a lot of challenges in Ghana. You see? You can find. It's like you guys and Nigerians are competing over the most undeveloped country with a lot of challenges. So you can get plenty. Let's talk about challenging you are struggling. Can get plenty. Okay, so that's it. So that's SOP. Now let's go on. So this is also motivation letter. For some of you, the applications, you'll be asked to write motivation letter. Okay, so it also has the same style as the SOP. An opening hook with a challenge, academic journey. If it is BSc, talk about BSc. I focused on BSc because I think Richard told me most of you are BSc students or graduate and all. And then your work experience. Now, it is very important to know that in motivation letters, work experience is very, very important, especially those who will be applying to Erasmus Mundus programs and the DAAD. If you have heard DAAD, is a German scholarship. Those scholarships, work experience is very, very important. That's why, if you remember, let me go back. When I was talking about the SOP, and I said, let me bring this down. Yeah, maybe this works. Yeah, and I said work experience. I said that you can give it one paragraph. Work experience, give it one paragraph, because you have to write duties and things, achievement that you did and all. Very, very important. It's the same in SOP. In SOP too, work experience is very, very important. Okay, and then you end with your future goals or career goals. And here at the left bottom, I wrote something like show, give examples, dates, and places. Okay, show, give examples, dates, places. Now, these are things that make your work unique, because a lot of people will go online and go and write some things because they don't have time. But when you start writing yours, even if you borrow some knowledge from online, it is important to give examples and mention some dates and the places, the company name. Those are the, I had my internship where I worked as this. Where did you have the internship? Where? You understand? You said you received an award. At which place? Which place did you receive the award? Mention names: Accra, Kumasi, University of Mines, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, University of Ghana, Kumasi Technical University. Mention them, those things, dates, places, give examples. You were a leader. I was this. When I was a leader, I chose this, I applied this, I selected this, I assessed this. Examples of things. Very, very important. Okay? All right. And then I also found another AC that sometimes we write. It's called financial statement. You may not see it so much often, but sometimes they ask. Okay? Those financial statements are AC they ask because they want to decide on funding or scholarship for you. So sometimes they want to see how best they can fund you, or if it is true that you really need the funding and you're not coming from a very rich home, because we cannot give scholarship to Kennedy Japan's son again. When we do that, it is fair. It is not fair. It's unfair to people like us that came from families that are not rich. Okay, so sometimes they receive an essay like that, and you may have to also write it well so that you can win the scholarship. Okay, so here I said your basic profile. The basic profile, limit it to yourself and your family. Give characteristics of your family. Maybe you are 5 in the family, and then you are the only one that has attended university. Mention those things. These are characteristics of the family. In your family, there's no engineer. In your family, there's no one who has completed even senior high school. In your family, most of them are doing mobile money. It is only you that have completed school. You see, maybe characteristics of your family. Maybe your daddy has lost the job, your father is not working, your mommy is sick in bed, like these things. But just say it professionally. Don't talk about all your family problems here. Just small. Okay, just is a form of highlight. Then also talk about sometimes the financial situations and the hardships. Maybe some time you paid your bills on your own. Maybe some time ago you did some part-time to pay your bills. Some time ago you were sacked, and then you had to even do remote courses or online remote work or online work to pay your bills. These are things you can say. And then when you mention some of these things, quickly juxtapose or quickly balance it with how these challenges helped you. Maybe they made you tough to withstand pressure, to easily adapt to changing situations. Okay, and so they made you tough. They made you very enthusiastic and very self-motivated yourself. On top of that, you also had good grace. These are things you have to say it on top of that. You don't have to talk about the family problems. Tell them how these problems have built you. Okay. and then discuss the benefit the award will give you. They are saying they are giving you scholarship. Take time to discuss how the scholarship will help you to help you achieve your goals. It will help you focus on your studies. It will open doors for you, opportunities for you. You see, it will help you study without thinking about money and thinking about stress or part-time work and all. Some of these things are things you have to say. Some of you may meet some of these essays as you apply for schools. Okay, let's move on. So these are some mistakes you may have to intentionally avoid. And these mistakes are not easily seen because sometimes when you are writing, you are in a hurry to finish and submit. Of course, because the deadline will also be fast approaching. But try to avoid generic essays. It should not be general. And I showed you some examples of how to make it personal and unique. Okay? And avoid negativity and excuses. Don't always say that, oh, I'm coming from a family where there is no money. We have been we have been sleeping on the floor. Even everybody died. It was only me. Then after 10 days, they all came back to life again. And then I've not even eaten since 2019. And don't say, if you want to say, show professional challenges and show how the challenges built you. Okay, remember we said that. And then number 3, avoid irrelevant information. Don't talk about church activities. You're usher. One time you led a prayer. And when you led a prayer, people started falling. By that, you know that, hey, you have potential ability as a leader. And to do research. Research where? Research in where? Research for anointing or anointing research. You see, you cannot use church anointing or church things to declare your leadership ability. That's not what Bruni wants to hear. Okay, so show examples, proper physical examples. When you come here and you pray over him, then the Lord will touch him. But when you are coming inside, give a Bruni physical things. Then later you pray over your application. See? Okay. Then don't also talk about pet. I have a pet. He's called Jack. And then no. I'm a 4. Be very specific on how you want to make a difference in your field. That is why talking about a challenge in your field is very important. How can you be specific? If you want to become specific, get a challenge in your field. I have a video on statement of purpose. When you check that video, I explain how you can get a challenge in your field. I explain how you can get. Okay. And the next one is, don't just say their university is world-renowned. That's what I was saying. Don't just say the university is a good university. It's international. Everybody know Harvard. Everybody know Oxford University. No, mention some professors and some of the achievements. Okay, I even said we should even don't talk about the school. Go to the department. Mention the achievement of the department. Mention some professors. Of course, the professors are in the department. Mention the professors in the department that you can work with. Okay. So these are some things to also check on the minor. Misspellings. Take your time to check if you have spelled some things incorrectly. An inconsistent start. Okay. Sometimes the paragraphs, the spaces are not even. The first paragraph space is bigger than the second paragraph space. Sometimes the topic, some is in small letters, some is in capital letters. Sometimes the font, so different font. First paragraph, different font. Last paragraph, different font. Check it. Poor English. Sometimes you don't have to use the Seshi English or you see Kumasi, Bordier English, those things. You don't have to use those English, use proper English at least, because sometimes you can let someone go through for you and all. How convincing or persuasive the essay is. Okay. Sometimes you may have to check. Make sure the essay is convincing. Say some good things, proper things that excite people and gives people interest in your application. Okay. Don't also make it too long. It shows no discipline. When you write long, it shows that this guy cannot summarize. No day discipline. See, so take your time to write it concise and precise. Don't use your essay to manufacture a person who doesn't exist. Some of the things you talk about yourself is that you know that these things you cannot do it. Okay. How can you say that you are very punctual to class. All the 4 years, you are very punctual to class. You went to class every day, all the 4 years. You cannot say that. You cannot say that. I won awards of the best student, the whole school validated. You know that you cannot. Sometimes you can win, or sometimes you cannot win. So stay in your field. Use holy lies, okay, holy ones. Lies that are not so obvious. I mean, don't manufacture someone that doesn't exist. This is you. Okay, so stay in your lane. And then that's it. So with God, all things are possible. Sometimes when you do all these things, just make sure that you add God small, you see. Because I have some people who started years back, but they have not still gotten application. And even juniors who graduated last year have come to pass them. So sometimes it is good to add God small to it. I always say that when you're applying for the schools, put worship songs at the background. There's a song called The Blessing. There's a bless. Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon. And that was the song I was using for my applications, even to today. If I'm applying to anything, I just switch on that song. Okay. Not only that song, you can switch on some worship songs. As the worship songs are playing on the background, then you are applying. Sometimes the Holy Spirit can help you in that. Sometimes you can create a godly atmosphere in your room, and that atmosphere can help you, can favor you. You may have no idea. So sometimes it is good to add God. What happens is that people don't become serious with all the application. When it is time for the visa, then they now add God. But they forget that the process should actually start with God. Well, God sees it. So just start with God already, Precon. Okay. And sometimes when you apply, oh man, when you apply and you don't get the offer, for example, you apply to a school and they told you that, oh, we are sorry, we cannot accept you. Well, you have to still thank God. You have to still thank God. Because you know you are there, Nankasa, you have not finished applying. You are not thanking God. And then you are going to apply plenty. And about they didn't select you. Why do you have to be angry? Just keep thank God that if they didn't even accept you, you don't know. The Bible says for everything we should give thanks to God. Don't be angry and be sad and be worried and be down. No. Just keep thanking God. Keep thanking God. Keep thanking God. Just thank God. You're fine. I'm fine. Keep thanking God. Oh, yes, sir. You get an offer. Remember what I said in the beginning. I said that it's just a matter of time because anybody who starts and graduates from an accredited school in Ghana, the person is eligible to study for his master's or PhD abroad. Okay. Thank you very much. And that's the end of my presentation.
Wow. This is wonderful, fantastic. In fact, I'm short of voice. Our presenter was really on fire. Seriously, I've attended presentations on statement of purpose more than 10, but this has got my heart. Seriously. In fact, on behalf of everyone here, Mr. Patrick, we want to thank you so much for your insightful presentations on statement of purpose. This is really fantastic. But in fact, your examples were making me to laugh too much. Sefi a contemporary board there, you know. Some of us are like we were victims. That's beautiful. Wow. In fact, we are so grateful. God bless you so much. We wish to have you another time. Yesterday presentation was great. Today is greater. And tomorrow too is going to be too greater. Hallelujah. In fact, Mr. Richie, I want you to take over and I'll be right back. Sorry. All right. So let's take some few questions. And then Mr. Patrick will attend to us before he leaves. Some few questions. If you have any question. questions, please.
Yeah. Ask any question at all.
Hello, can you hear me?
I have some time to answer. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. First off, thank you very much. It was very insightful, and I really appreciate what you do. This is very helpful for the us applicant communities. I just want to say that first. And I wanted to ask some specific questions. My name is Fromsa, by the way. I am from Ethiopia. I'm currently doing an Erasmus Masters, and I was in a process of applying for a PhD. I want to ask you a few questions. I think I've even reached out to you before on LinkedIn. I really appreciate the time you took to reply for my questions. So for work experience on CV, and also to reiterate it in the statement of purpose, how important is that, especially for a PhD student? I'm talking about work experience that are not directly related to the program specifically. How should we approach that? That's my first question. Maybe I will follow up on that. Okay. And thank you.
Yeah, if you want to add your work experience to your essays, you may have to filter them. Okay, you may have to filter them. So the ones that are more related are the ones that you can discuss. It's the work experience. Yeah, I did a video and I said that also in the statement of purpose, because the ones that are more related to the program is what you have to discuss. For example, I give an example, like if you're applying for a mining program and once upon a time you became what? How do I say it? Is it you marketed for Tico or you marketed for the Milo company? Okay, or Okwa around Kojiji Susu for a financial company. That job is good, you are paid great, but it doesn't reflect in the mining. So it is good to sometimes filter. However, you'll get some work experiences that are quite universal. It can fit anywhere. Okay, so you can discuss it, but you may not have to major on it. Just major on the ones that are more related. So sometimes if you add those ones in your CV, then discuss the more related ones in your SOP and leave the rest in your CV. Okay, sometimes you can do it like that.
Thank you very much. Thank you for confirming. I was actually, I also agree on that fact. Relevant, all the work experience should be on the CV, but for the SOP, it has to tailor to the program we apply. I was, I'm actually also interested in Penn State, as I take message to earlier, and there is a section where I'm asked to fill out any work experience, even part-time. So my original question emanates from that one. If I could mention that on the application portal itself, or just
yes. If they ask you on the application portal, you can mention that on the portal itself,
regardless of the relevance. I mean, it's just a work experience I had. All right, thank you. And
regardless, and make sure it still be on your CV. So don't put it on the portal and take it out of your CV. It should be at both areas.
Okay, I don't want to take like the time, but I have one final question. I wanted to say that most of the deadlines for US universities, especially for graduate school, has completed December 15 or 20 or something like that, and that's for fall semester. And most of the universities, they don't take spring intern, And maybe could you tell me your experience with that, like the application timeline for your maybe graduate school with your experience, and also specifically for Penn State, even though the application selection is completed on December 20th, the application still extends through April. They explicitly state that it's the selection might take place before December 20. So it's already past that time. And what's your like personal suggestion on that regard? If I should proceed to the application or
Yes. So I think every school has 2 application deadlines to 1 application. For example, they have an application that come with scholarship, and then they have an application that does not come with scholarship. So the December 20th and the December 15th, there are a lot of the December 15th deadlines are deadlines that come with scholarships. And after the December 15th, you will see that there's an extended application deadline too, where they can say that, okay, you can still put in your application in January, in March, in April, like you said. So once the first deadline has passed, the rest of the deadline, when you apply, you will not be considered for funding. You will not be considered for scholarship. So they will only consider those who applied before the first deadline for scholarships and for funding. Okay, so sometimes if you miss the first deadline, I think you don't have to apply. Just wait for the spring or the next fall. That's my advice, because you will lose your money, and it has happened a lot of times with the people I coach. So now we don't do it anymore. When you miss we call it priority deadline. When you meet the first priority deadline, just look for another school to apply. Okay, so sometimes that is what happens. And the application timelines on when to apply to, the one you asked, I would say, obviously it is good to apply against fall. Fall is September, because during the fall period, a lot of students are admitted. There is a lot of funding for a lot of students. So when you apply that time, it means you have a better chance. But if you also got in touch with a professor, and the professor sees you can come during spring, which is January, you can still come during spring. But focusing on the fall is far better, because it has a lot of funding opportunities, and it is also the period that has a lot of intake of students. So that's the little I can say. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, thank you very much. Especially now it is clear that the priority deadline, I didn't know deep into that matter, and I was like weirded out because most of them for a fall semester, the deadline over so early. So I wondered why, and I got my answer now. And speaking of reaching out to professors, I know most the US universities application go through like admission committee, but do you still suggest to reach out for professors in this regard? I know that for European students, it's for the European universities, it's more of a norm than the state universities. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, you can reach out to professors still. You mean to email them? You mean?
Exactly, like cold emailing.
Yeah, you can email them. Once it is, for me, I will say, once it is a PhD you are looking for, or even if it's master's, it is good to email professors. It is good to email professors, because it's like the professors are the ones who are managers of their research company, and then they are trying to employ you. That's why they are going to pay you or give you a scholarship or monthly stipend. And remember that it is only when you're applying for a job that they ask for your CV, isn't it?
Okay.
When you're applying for a job is when they ask for your CV. And for you to apply for graduate school with your CV means that it's a job you're applying to.
Yeah.
So it's good to email them and create relationships with them. And by that, you can even get a lot of offers. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time and what you're doing. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Mr. Patrick, someone asked a question. I wish
Okay.
I can discuss my SOP with you further. That is from Mr. Musa Uma Nyaminke. So can someone discuss his SOP with you in your inbox?
Yes. My timing is not the ones I can trust. But before, you can use these steps and the video I made so that when you come, it will be easy to go through for you. Yeah,
All right.
you can anytime discuss
All right,
it with me in my inbox.
All right, thank you. Mr. David Links also said, do you have YouTube channel where we can watch this again, please?
Yes, I have a YouTube channel. It is called Pato 360. Pato. Yeah, I think somebody put on the chat. I'm watching the chat. Michael put on the chat Pato 360 on YouTube. If anybody has the link, yeah, you can share it with you.
All right. Miss Mabel, she asked a question. Is it advisable to apply for schools with graduate assistantship and not for scholarship, especially when you are hardly discovering schools with favorable deadlines and full scholarships?
That's a very good question. So what happens is that the graduate assistantships is also another way of scholarship. So I understand why you use full scholarships anyway. So the graduate assistantships, the only issue with that is that sometimes you pay taxes on the graduate assistantship you are given, or the T, like sometimes if it is a teaching assistantship, you pay taxes on it. Okay, into a T-scan also kakra. But it is enough to be called a full scholarship. It is enough. Once you don't pay anything, tuition is free, and they give you stipend every month to pay for your housing and for your feeding and for other things, and you don't pay anything. I think it's okay to see it as a full scholarship, though it's not like scholarship, okay, but it is enough. It is a name they have given to it, like, oh, graduate assistantship. It's just a name. See it as just a name. So your question is it advisable to apply for schools like that? Yes, absolutely. It's good to apply for schools like that. Most of the students studying in the US are using the graduate assistantship. They don't have scholarship attached to their funding name. Okay. Yeah. So go ahead and apply for graduate assistantships.
All right. Thank you. Another question, please.
I think Joseph Asani raised a hand. You can go ahead if that was for a question.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to ask the question about this Erasmus, the ETI scholarship that have opened, I think the end of last year are still in progress. Some of them are still. You see, some of them have some exams attached to them, and then there are not many resources on the internet as to what exactly the exams entail. Some are just mathematics, physics, and chemistry in terms of where can we get resources for the consortium in order to prepare for it? Because when you're applying for, say, something related to mining one might be thinking that you'll be giving questions regarding to those fields. But I realized I've done two and I've realized that it's nothing like related to the industry per se, but mostly about just basic chemistry, physics, and just sciences. So can you share more light on?
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes it is hard to know the kind of questions that will come. Why? Because those who do it online on the portal, submit, and then that's it. They don't get the questions back. And remember, those who do it are so busy to take notice of the questions or to screenshot the questions because they are time bound and under pressure to pass so you can be admitted and given scholarship. So there's no chance like that. However, what I advise my people to do is to look for the past students of that program or students in that program already on LinkedIn. So if your program is Emerald or Serem or your program is Erasmus program in this, so type the keyword in LinkedIn or on LinkedIn, and then you can find students who are already studying that program, and then quickly contact them and tell them you're about to write the exam of that program and you need help, or they can give you an idea of the kind of questions they want to bring or they usually bring. So like you said, you may think it is mining, but they can give you questions about chemistry, like stoichiometry, or some molarity questions, because they know that you're coming from a science background, engineering background. Okay. So sometimes you can email them, and then don't email one, don't email two. You can find like 3 or 4 students studying that program. Email all of them, because sometimes you may even get other questions aside the exams or the exams likely questions. Okay. So email all of them and get info. Sometimes you may even meet one who kept the question somewhere the time he was writing. He may have kept the question somewhere, or he might have tried to jot some things down when he finished with the exam. And you may be fortunate to get those questions. So that's how we do it, because we cannot email the school to give us Pasco. So that's one of the things you can do. I hope I've answered your question.
All right, thank you. There is a quick question here, Miss Angela. Do you have to wait for a professor's approval in regards to working with him in a lab before including his name in your SOP?
No. You don't have to wait for his approval. Whether he approves or not, include his name. Whether you contacted him or not, also include his name.
That's right.
Okay, please, I have one last question.
Okay.
Assuming you've gotten a scholarship this year, you know, for Canada, and we have some organizations that give out to pay for your students if you are not on scholarship and stuff. Sometimes I've heard stories about some guys getting these lucrative scholarships, but they don't have money to do the visa processing and stuff, so they end up not going. Do we also have any organizations that helps students prepare for such occurrences? Like if you don't have money, we can loan you for your application processing, then you pay later. Those scenarios.
Oh, I have not heard of any firm or foundation like that. I have not. Because I think say, if you want to go abroad, it's like you're going abroad for your family. So if people want to do, then it will be like a philanthropist or a kind man, a generous man who wants to help. But I've not really seen a foundation like that. Maybe there are foundations like that, maybe, but I've not seen or heard. But the question is, why would you be giving millions of dollars or euros for scholarship and then common money for visa processes you cannot get? I mean, you cannot get. Of course, nobody has money in the room or money like a sand. But you understand what I'm saying, right? Like, you have to find a way to get, or even if it is people's money that you can take, just to make your visa processes work. You see. So sometimes you can ask friends who can help you. Sometimes you can ask banks, associations can help you. Maybe they will let you pay it back. Maybe they can even dash it to you. Just ask. Because I think visa processing fees should not be something that will prevent you from achieving your study abroad goals. You see, and if you travel like this, it's like you take a U-turn of your life, you enter into destiny. So you cannot let visa processing fees take away your destiny. If the witches and wizards in your village couldn't take it, why is it that you allow visa to take it? Okay, so yeah, I mean, ask and people can help. Sometimes borrow. Yeah, I'm not a fan of borrowing at all. Bible, no borrow. But because you pay back, sometimes borrow from a friend, Obana it your car, then you pay it back. See, to the friend you borrowed from.
All right. We take another quick one and we see we close. Can an individual with a higher national diploma, HND, and a GPA of 3.58 apply for a master's degree program at universities in the United States?
Yes. I recently found a page that mentioned some of these things. HND, there are programs that require HND and GPAs like this. Okay, so if the GPA 3.58, even if it is over 5 or over 4, yeah, there are schools like that. So one of the things is that you may also have to search. In case I get offers, I can send to Richard or Nkatia to forward to you. But sometimes you can also search from online. Search a lot, and follow the post. Sometimes I do a lot of posts on my LinkedIn and Facebook, and also on the WhatsApp page. Sometimes you will see some schools like that. Sometimes the things I post, I don't even read them because I don't need them. So when I see them elsewhere, and then I post them. Okay, so sometimes you can follow it. There are a lot of schools like that. No problem, cry.
Okay, all right. There is another question here. Do you have to get a scholarship before following your visa processing?
Yes, but if you
Mr.
have
Patrick,
money
there
to
is a
fund
question
it,
here.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it is good to wait for your scholarship before you start applying for visa. What if later the scholarship doesn't come and you have already applied for visa? So it's good to wait for it. But if you have your money, if you have money that you can pay for your education, then you don't need scholarship, so you can go ahead with your visa. The only issue is that the visa people, okay, the American embassy, the European embassies, when you go and you don't have scholarship, they don't trust you. They think you just want to leave. So it is good to wait for a scholarship and get a scholarship before you travel. Sometimes it is better that way.
All right. Thank you so much. I think in the absence of any other question, I think maybe we'll end it there. Time is fast spent for some other things too. So, Mr. Patrick, we are so grateful and we thank you so much for your time, your resources spent, and the insightful presentation you've given to us. We are so grateful. Our mentorship sessions continue. Tomorrow we are taking another presenter from Algeria. who is also a master's student, and will be taking. This person will be presenting on documentations. So, if you need check on the chat, there is a link there. You can join us on the page as we continue to engage ourselves. Mr. Patrick, once again, we are so grateful, and we would love to engage you in another time.
All right. Thank you very much also for the invitation and this opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So you have a beautiful time.
Thank
so
you. I think
meet
Mr. Vincent's hand is still up. I don't know. Even though our time has, he said his hand has been raised for a long time, you know.
Someone has raised a hand. Oh.
Eh,
Oh, okay.
he wants to give you the opportunity. So your questions can.
Oh, you can ask on the page. He called him, but he wasn't around.
Okay. Is he still there?
I think he's left. Yeah.
Okay.
We've lost him. Yeah.
Okay. So I think I can leave now, right?
Yes.
Richard, can I leave? Okay. Great.
Yes, Mr. Patrick. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for joining. See you tomorrow. Yeah.